Hello, hello. You're watching Trending with the Tennessee Tribune. I'm Ashley Northington, the founder and agency director at DENOR Brands and Public Relations. I'm here on behalf of the Tennessee Tribune with Mr. Nick Leonardo, who is running for General Sessions Judge Division 3. We're here digging in deep with the candidates so that you can learn more about the issues that matter to you most and so that you can be informed when you go to vote. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Mr. Leonardo, please tell the viewers who you are and why you decided to run for this judgeship.
Okay, well, first off, I'm Judge Nick Leonardo. I'm the newly appointed judge in the Division 3 of General Sessions Court. There was a vacancy that was created, and we have a need for good judges. I've been practicing law for 16 years. I've never been on the prosecution side of things. I've always been a defense attorney, and I've always had an interest in the community and a proven track record in the community. So I thought this was another way to expand my public service in addition to helping the folks in District 1 where I was a council member. Now I can help all the folks in Nashville.
Sure. So what do you think has really prepared you to serve as a judge?
Well, it has a lot to do with my socialization and upbringing. I was born and raised in Porter Road across from Panorama Apartments in East Nashville. Being the councilman in Bordeaux, I've seen a lot of different things. I've practiced law in front of every judge in Davidson County. And I practice law in all the surrounding counties, and I've practiced law ever since I've had a law license. And so as you get around and see better practices in other places, you take what you see as a very efficient and best practice and bring that with you to the bench, and some of the less efficient practices you let go by the wayside. So I think being varied in your upbringing, but also being varied in the practice that you've had.
Sure. And so I know that this specific court is a domestic violence court. Talk to me a little bit about what sparked your interest to be in this particular court.
Well, this court, there are no courts other than the environmental court that's designated by the General Assembly as a specific court. But there are 11 General Sessions judges, and we rotate. And so 4 months out of the year, I'm in the rotation, and then 4 months I'll hear domestic violence cases in the jail docket, and then 4 months I hear them on the bond docket. In this particular case, obviously, there is an emphasis on domestic violence, and
Yes.
I've had a lot of experience representing folks in family court and with orders of protection and the like, and I've defended a lot of people charged with domestic violence. And so I'm more than equipped with my background to handle these kinds of cases, but also my wide variety of experience allows me to bring things to the bench that can make changes, such as in the dispossession law with firearms. Right now, if you're convicted of domestic assault or you receive an order of protection and one's granted against you, you have 48 hours to fill out a form that says that you've dispossessed yourself with firearms. Well, the hole in the system that we have right now is that there's no one checking up to see if you actually did that, if you actually filed that form. Yeah. So there's a lot of things that can be done from the perspective of a judge that would help decrease the instances of domestic violence and get domestic abuse at an all-time low, because we know through the lethality study that if you have guns, you're 20 times more likely that it could end in a fatal domestic violence encounter than it would be if you didn't have those firearms. And so not only is the job itself in its current state important, but also being willing to work to make changes to bring about a safer community for everyone is also very impactful in people's lives and is very much so needed at this time.
Sure. So if you are elected to serve a 4-year term, what would be your vision or directive for this court?
Well, at this point in time, I want to make sure that that's part of it. The other part of it is that we all know that if you're a person of color, if you're a person of limited means, your experience in the criminal justice system is very, very different. So I'm working very hard to remove barriers that people have to accessing justice. And so, for example, if you are charged with a misdemeanor that doesn't involve a victim, if you're charged with public intoxication, possession of a small amount of drugs, a lot of people are pleading guilty because they don't have $137 to get out of jail. And so what I've tried to do is to give people pretrial release in those kinds of instances so that they can fight their case on the street along with people that don't maybe look like them or come from where they come from, but also have that opportunity that other people are having to fight those cases. And I think that helps level the playing field to some degree. I mean, the reason we all get along in a football game is because it takes, somebody wins, somebody loses, but it's 10 yards for a first down. Okay? Sure. And I'm sure in my courtroom that everybody's got to get 10 yards. Some people don't get 6, and some people don't have to get 35.
Sure.
Okay? So we want to make sure that we're all on a level playing field. Everyone has an opportunity to be heard, and that their cases are not, there's no presuppositions, and there's no assumptions made about any person or any case that comes before me.
Sure. So what would you consider to be the biggest issue facing the court right now?
I think it's a lack of trust in public officials, quite frankly, and it applies to the court. I mean, I think you have to look no further than just to turn on the news or open up a newspaper in the last year, and I think that you see that some of our public officials aren't living up to the standard that they need to live up to. I can assure everyone that I will not be in any sort of media for the wrong reasons. But I think another issue we have is that we have to respect begets respect, and we have to respect people that come before the court, because this is the most important day in a lot of these individuals' lives, and we have 250,000 cases that come through there. I'm willing to sit there till 10 o'clock at night so that everybody has their say. You may win, you may lose, you may disagree with my ruling, but I want everybody to walk out of my courtroom thinking, gosh, I said everything that I wanted to say to Judge Leonardo. I may not have won, but I felt like my voice was heard, and I had my opportunity to put forth my case, whether it be on the traffic docket, whether it be on the domestic jail docket, whether it be on a small claims docket, or whether it be an eviction proceeding.
Sure. So, if elected,
Or reelected.
4 years from now, what would you say your vision, your legacy would be?
I think that my legacy would be doing it in such a manner that people say there is a good judge, there's a fair man, and that puts the community first, and it does not put his own needs or desires. There's nothing any better as a lawyer than to have a judge that you feel has a good demeanor.
Sure.
And I think this is the same with the public. I mean, we've all been to traffic court. We feel like sometimes we were guilty before we even got a chance to get up there and plead our case. But also that I'm a humble man, and that I have a very humble beginning, and I want to make sure that I treat people the same way that I want my daughter treated, and I want this city to be molded in such a fashion that it's a safe place for my daughter, but it's also a fair place. And I have a proven track record as the councilman in District 1 with service to the community. I did what I said I was going to do, and I'm doing the same on the bench.
Wonderful. So now I have to ask you the really tough question. And that question is, why should the voters choose you?
Well, I've been practicing law every day since I've had a law license for 15 years. I have been a defense lawyer the entire time. We need more people from the defense bar on the bench. There's no doubt about that. Just because you're charged with a crime does not mean that you're guilty. Okay, and we need more people like that. But also, I'm the only candidate that has a proven track record of service in the community. I'm still the same guy that was picking up people's trashes and trash in Bordeaux Hills. I'm still the same person that has the community meetings. I'm still the same person that helps people when they need it. I just have a little bit of a different role, but I'm the same person. And so I'm a safe bet. And I think if you're elected by the public, that you need to be with the people and with the public. And so I'm not going to be a locus judge that you see once every 7 years when it's time to run. I intend to be involved in the community and stay involved in the community, because that's why we're here, not only to be a judge, but that job continues outside of that courthouse, outside of the Justice A. Birch building, because we're all ambassadors of our office and things like that wherever we go. And so I will be a judge that's involved in the community.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, you all have heard it here first. Thank you for watching Trending with Tennessee Tribune. We hope that you will go and learn more about Judge Leonardo. That's all we have today for Trending with Tennessee Tribune. Thank you.